Okay guys, what's going on? Cloud Plays here and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today we're inside of Starfield, and with about 20 hours under the belt now on this game, I'm going to tell you guys my main thoughts, and it's not what I thought it was going to be, that's for damn sure. Now we're going to dive straight on into it and not mess around, so if you haven't already, smash the beautiful blue thumbs up and subscribe with post notifications turned on, and be ready for a hot take, because I'm not too sure you guys are ready for this. This is definitely not what we were essentially sold from the get-go. Don't get me wrong, this place is an absolutely incredible place and it looks absolutely gorgeous at first hand, but there's a lot of things you can and cannot do with it. Let's just take, for instance, the idea of being able to go into space. So let's say that we want to travel to a different planet and we're going to head on over here just to essentially maneuver. This is what it is. This right here, this black screen is us going to that's it. Yep, and all of a sudden we're in a ship and we're able to fly around, and you can even go first person. Looks absolutely incredible, but you cannot fly on or off of planets, which causes for a bit of concern. And even moving between places for different style of missions, you can fly absolutely anywhere and look at absolutely anything that you want to, but this planet right here, you can fly until kingdom come, but that's a PNG file and you're never going to reach it. It just continuously just stays the same size. You just can't reach that bloody place to land on it. If you do happen to want to go somewhere else though, and you've got icons in the sky or something, you can literally go from one location and follow your mission by just clicking a button, and yep, you guessed it, it's literally just as simple as after you've pressed that button, you are going to graph jump and just go straight there, and that's it. Now, when the trailers first came out, people gave me a hell of a lot of stick as I made a complaint about the fact that during the gameplay trailers there was no gameplay of actual flight on the planets or being inside of an atmosphere or anything like that. The closest thing we've got on this is, well, this is what we've got. The flight plan inside of the actual space game though, really good. It seems to be working quite well, and the enjoyment of taking out spacers and pirates and stuff like that does genuinely seem to work quite well. Space fighting is quite fun and I really actually quite enjoyed it. That's just neither here nor there. When the idea of that happening just means that they zip away and it's over in an instant, it becomes quite frustrating. But this is how you manage to get onto different planets to be able to actually go to certain locations to start your missions. Yep, more loading screens. We love to bloody see that. That's not what I had in mind for a game that I paid £100 for to get early access. Yes, I'm not one of those YouTubers that managed to get the gracefulness of an early access completely free of charge. No, I had to pay £100 for the privilege of this. The game is enjoyable and I have had quite a lot of fun with it, although, in all honesty, this does not seem to meet the mark for what it is that we were sold. Now, let's take a look at the actual gameplay for shooting and fighting and stuff like that. It is relatively intriguing, although it's not 100% on the mark. The feel of it is pretty damn good, and I enjoyed the main combat cycles and how they worked, and the maneuvering around the map was quite cool. We were sold with jetpacks and stuff like that, and that just doesn't seem to be the case, at least in the 20 hours that I've played. The additional upgrades that I've made towards my booster packs are, well, very freaking minimal. You essentially are just able to spurt a little flame out of your main backpack. Will give you a bit of an insight. That's it. Now, this does have a bit of a fun factor, but as an overall, the first 15 hours or so of this game was pretty lackluster. The combat kind of kicked in wave after wave when you went to specific locations, but after that it was pretty damn frickin' flat. It didn't really venture much further than that. It was kind of a bit of a rinse and repeat motive of go to this location, speak to this person. Once you've done that, fast travel to another location, speak to that person. Once you've done that, fast travel to another location, go and get a small part, and that's the quest done. That's just essentially how it seemed to be. And even then, when you are inside of the game, there is no navigation. That includes mini-maps. You essentially have a compass with only larger points of interest on it, and you have to kind of wander to find absolutely anything. And that's not even just out in the open. That includes absolutely everywhere. These big cities and big towns where there are so many people around, you can't essentially just go ahead and go and find a shop that you want to find via the minimap, locate it, and then head to it. You have to venture around and try and find a way to get to it that way. Although there is ground play inside of this with the weapons, and it is really fun, and then the space flight on its own is essentially quite damn fun. There's also 0 bugs in this, and that's great, but I don't think there's much opportunity for it, if I'm completely honest with you. For me, on the Xbox, I had a great opportunity to come through with this game, and it worked really, really well. Although PC players out there, bloody good luck to you guys. Optimization seems to be absolutely appalling, and Xbox is okay, but it looks like it's just made in the same time frame as Fallout back in the day. Graphically, it's not overly exertive, and it hasn't seemed to have really pushed any boundaries about this. It just seems to be quite a stagnant playstyle in its way of graphical imagery, and then even that's going to be capped at a point because console only has it at 30 frames per second, and PC can't run it any further than that, or else the game just becomes a giant eye-opening piece of mess that will just send you down to the optations quicker than you can bloody blink. Now, as much as this game is quite fun and I did enjoy it, it's worth playing through Game Pass, although I definitely regret paying money for this. I did spend 100 Great British pounds on this so I could get in for early access, and definitely regret spending the money. I kind of wish that I had waited to actually play this through Game Pass. That's just what my honest opinion is. I didn't really think that this was going to be a bit of an issue, but yet here we are. Now, the campaign is okay, and I'm not going to give you any spoilers inside of this, but it's not as good as what I thought it was going to be, although side missions are probably more of its little crystal gem moments than absolutely anything at all. And again, even with those, maneuvering around place to place to place, you kind of lose fucking sight of the fact that there's 1,000 different planets, solely based on the fact that you are fast traveling between each one. It doesn't really feel like the game is as big as what it is. It just kind of feels like we're in an expansion point of Fallout 4 back in the day. It really doesn't seem to really hit that mark for me personally. Just to give you guys a bit more of an insight to this, we've just finished the rest of this mission, and at this point here we are essentially just going to head back to our main menu and go ahead and find the part that we're on, set the course. It's going to automatically run us through the map segments, take us back to certain locations, exactly where we need to go, and we're gonna land, and that's our entire flight place. This game, although is relatively enjoyable, will not be enjoyable for a long period of time. This game is a short burst of enjoyment for me personally while I wait for other games to release. This is a giant menu simulator, and this is actually frustrating beyond belief. Now, as we do get through back to this main area here, though, you will notice that main areas such as Atlas are really, really good to look at, and they are full and thriving cities that seem to work quite well, and there's a lot of enjoyment just venturing around them, although the exploration inside of this game is not that good in regards to actually what it is. You essentially are looking for a shop. You have to look at the main icons on side of the building to find out what it is you're walking into. So this one seems to be some sort of medical practice, and even then the receptionist isn't freaking here. But the livelihood inside of this place does seem to be quite realistic, and it's really, really pretty to look at inside of these areas, although unfortunately there's just not really much for you guys to do here. Now, like I state though, the space is good fun. I've had a lot of enjoyable dogfights here, and you're about to witness one right now where this does seem to work really, really well. The locking procedure works quite fun, and there's a lot of really cool mechanics that you can add to your ships. Once it's over though, it's bloody over. And although they are fun, they come few and far, and if we start to venture out in towards this game, we're going to show you guys exactly what we mean by the dead exploration right here. If you are to take this tiny little piss jack jetpack and be able to scale your building, this is what you have to explore. Majority, although they do say that the Starfield has 1,000 planets and you can explore them all, majority of it is just wasteland. There is absolutely nothing here. So we're going to quickly continue to talk about this while we take a run in a certain direction. Now, people's biggest worry was that they were going to hit an invisible wall. I applaud absolutely anybody that is running through this game so damn far that they managed to hit any of these invisible walls, because you will tell during this very short description exactly how much you've got to look through before you end up getting to any of these right here. So over here, what we do have is a ship. There is one ship in the middle of all of this wreckage. It's just ridiculous. It does seem to be absolutely nothingness. Now, I do believe that most games do have a 10-second rule, or at least a 15-second rule. And what those generally mean is that for every 10 seconds you are running, or 15 seconds you are running, you have to walk into something interesting or something interactive. Or, well, it turns out Bethesda and Starfield just didn't have this in mind. This is really frustrating considering they made games like Skyrim and Fallout, because they do go by the 10 and 15-second rule. Something always seems to happen every time you leave a town or you run past somebody. There's some sort of exciting adventure to have. But as you can see, we have a single ship, which I will probably steal and then sell, and that is the entire amount of content inside of this round area. I know, freaking disappointing. But now, while I steal this little ship, for it being the only content I have availability of, we're going to disclose off this video. This is a decent game for a short period of time, but don't expect this to cover your grounds for as much as what Fallout did, or for as much as what Skyrim did, or anything like that. This game is probably not likely to have much of a future other than maybe some DLC motives. As you could tell, even taking out the people for this ship took me a whole 5 seconds whilst actually talking to actually get through this. We're going to open the door and just continue to wipe these lot out, because even that is not much of a difficulty. Yeah, this is what we banked ourselves in for. It's okay, it's not too bad, although I've definitely played better. I probably will not be diving into this game for a great deal longer. We are going to have some game-like videos of things such as tips, tricks, and tutorials and stuff like that for you guys, so you guys have at least a few extra bits and credentials to utilize during your time inside of this game. But overall, extremely disappointed, and I expected a lot more. It's just kind of how it is. Even the ship is a little bit lack-bloody-lusted, man. You could have had a little bit more into it. Bloody hell. And that's what we've got time for today. Thank you so much again for watching, guys. I appreciate all your faces. Let me know your opinions down in the comment section below about this game and if you've played it or not. But for me, hunting for new things is bloody tedious, and I don't have much time. Thanks again for watching. Appreciate you all, and as always, I'll see you in the clouds.